So we've had an amazing time of learning already this month, sharing on the subject. In fact, this theme for September, we've been talking about creating multiple streams of income, reinventing yourself, setting up platforms and businesses that are needed, at a time as this. We began to talk about how, from biblical perspective, from theological perspective, it is God's desire and plan for everyone to have not one income, not two, at least four, you know, multiple streams of income. We went past that and talked about the economic need for multiple stream of income, the fact that we live at a time in a nation where things are very, 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 very interesting, more than ever before. If you have money and income to spend, you realize that there is the buying power, like we used to have it, is not the same as it is right now. Okay? So it is important that we generate income much more than ever before. All right? I've talked about the fact that the kingdom of God needs that level of influence as well. And money is in that category of bringing influence as well. All right? We said to ourselves that this is a much needed discussion. All right. Besides all we've talked about, which I can't go through right now, we're talking today on increasing your earning power. It's a subject in selling, as a matter of fact. I'd like to ask a question before we start. What are you selling? What are you selling? I also would like to say this. In fact, you can title this discussion Sell Something. Sell something. You know, more than ever before, we see a lot of people praying so much for income, praying for a miracle, but don't want to do the much needed work that is needed for growing their businesses, their brands, their earning capacity, their income. They don't want to do it. In fact, there are loads of people, for instance, who will say to me, because they know that I am into recruiting for organizations, they say, please help me see if you can talk to one of your clients to get me a job. And then when we're done with that, they say things like, but I don't want marketing. I don't want sales job. I said, so what do you want? And I can ask somebody that same question about 48 hours ago in one of the meetings I was. He said, oh, actually yesterday. It's yesterday. I was one of the universities, and I asked the person a question. Now that you're done, you're graduated, what's next? He said, I'm going home. And then I said, what's next after that? He said, I want a job. What kind of job do you want? You know? So I had the same question I've always had. Say, I don't want marketing. I said, whoa. I said, but do you know the greatest men on earth are marketers? They are salesmen. Yes, all of them. Yes. Yes. The richest men in the world are all salesmen. All of them. The greatest entrepreneurs on earth are all salesmen. The greatest authors on earth are all salespeople. That's why we don't have best authors. We have best selling authors. Okay, we don't have people who can just paint. We have artists who can sell. So the greatest showmen, entertainers, are not the ones who sing the most, to sing best. They're the ones who know the business of selling. They know how to sell what they create. As a matter of fact, salesmen are amazing in the sense that they might not even be creating anything, but they sell what other people create. They are good at selling what other people create because they are able to connect the need of the buyer to the product of the creator. That middleman right there. Yeah. Are you aware that many companies producing don't make as much as the people selling their product? Are you aware of that? Are you aware that organizations that spend so much in producing, you know, Just take anything in our country, and you realize that the people who are in the middle seem to be making much more because the cost of production is not as high for them. They are not importing machines. They are not paying for machines. They are not paying that amount of staff and all that. They're not. They're not. I've been privileged recently. In the month of August, I was in the production plant of the Nigerian bottling, 7 Up rather. And I see the massive number of, you know, product churning out. And every product going out with a margin goes to someone's warehouse. And without all the factors of production, the person selling the product is making probably much more. I'm serious, much more money than. Anyways, I'm just laying a foundation. And I hope that um, whether you're listening to me here now or you're going to listen to this later, I hope that you understand why we're sharing what we're sharing. There's nothing out of place, ministry wise, in what we're doing. I need you to understand that God is particularly interested in his children prospering. It says, I wish above all things that you prosper. Above everything that you prosper, that we prosper. It is his desire, even as our soul prospers. So as our spirit man grows, so should our bank account and our pockets grow. And this is God's desire for our lives. This is God's desire for our lives. So I'm speaking to the subject of sell something, how to become a better salesman or a woman or a better sales professional. I want to tell you to sell something. That's my subject today. So we're starting out with, introducing the sales academy that will go on for the next 2 weeks. And most of it will be, offline discussions, pushing content out there to increase the capacity for anybody, anybody, whether you are introvert or extrovert, to be able to increase your earning power. Whether you're young or old, whether you have money or not, everybody should sell something. Everybody should sell something. I've had people say things like, sir, I heard what you said. I have ideas, but I don't have capital. I don't have money to start business. I've always saying that. Every time somebody tells you that I don't have capital, they're simply giving you the reason why they feel they can't go into the business of their dreams. I don't have capital. I don't have capital. I don't have capital. Okay. Luke chapter 19, verse 13. All right. Let's just take verse 13. It says, so he called 10 of his servants. That's Jesus speaking about this man who was about to travel to a far country. It says, he delivered to them 10 minas and said to them, the King James will say, occupy till I come, right? Are we together? Occupy till I come. This is a do business till I come. Do business till I come. This is mandate of every single one of us who is called to kingdom service, who is called to, as citizens of the globe, of the earth, to do business. All right? We are loaded with so much inside us. There's none without value. And I'm sure you know that already. For there is this treasure in earthen vessels, scripture says to us, that the excellency of that treasure will be of God, but not of ourselves. It says, let your light so shine. So there's light in every man. It says, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. I had holy plans for you. A prophet to the nations. That's what I had in mind for you. I like to always explain what that meant in Jeremiah 1:5. That at the time when God was speaking to Jeremiah, the prophet was the most important person on the earth as at that time. As at that time. So when God speaks to us today, he's not necessarily saying go and become a prophet. He's saying go and be important. He's saying go and be influential. Go and be great. Okay? Because prior to the king, there was the prophet. Even after the king was installed, the king still feared and revered the prophets, except foolish ones. So in other words, the prophets were the most important people on the earth. So you see what God was saying to Jeremiah at that time. He's still saying to us now. A prophet to the nations. That's what I had in mind for you. In other words, saying I want you to be an influential person. I want you to be an important person. I want you to be big like that. I want you to be powerful. I want you to be powerful. So in every sphere of life that we are, do business there. Trade with your gifting. Trade with your skill. Trade with what you have. Sell to the point where, income comes to you. Give your value in exchange for whatever it is that people have to pay for it. And that's what God is saying to us. I hope that is very, very key. I hope that's key. Nothing happens until a sale is made. Nothing happens until a sale is made. This is very important as we start our discussion on selling. Remember, I said I'm talking to you on the subject of sell something, or what are you selling? All right? It's a discussion on how to become a sales professional. A sales professional. Everybody should sell something. Everybody should have something to sell. When I was on campus, let me start from back on my primary school days. Back then, it was fruits. It was fruits we had to sell. Why? Because that was what was available at the time around that we could, give as exchange for money. So in living in University of Ibadan, around the staff quarters where there was a lot of fruits at the time with my father and my family, all right? When it rained heavily out there at night, we used to be excited because in the morning, there'll be fruits everywhere, especially mangoes, if it was the season of mangoes. So what do? We get out as early as 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Why? Because if we don't get out early, other people would have gone to pick up all the fruits. So we knew where the best fruits were. The Ogbomoso mangoes, all right? We knew where cherries were. We knew where they were. We had them in a BQ too. So we go out with big basins and go pick mangoes, massive. And guess what? Not only was it food for us, it was revenue for us. I never ever, forget the experience of going to the sports stadium in the evening, the sports center, where students are. And they bought our oranges, our guava, our mangoes. It was always exciting to have something to sell in exchange for money. It was always exciting. It was always a joy to, at the end of every selling experience, begin to count whatever money you had. That was there. And then there's times when that graduated into selling stationaries, and then to selling boxes and T-shirts. And then, of course, by time was, at the university level, it was selling CDs and tapes, audio books, anything sellable. It was just selling. And then we graduated to selling training products, information products, and the like. Now, why am I saying this to us? I say this because I know that sometimes, especially those of us who are undergraduates, young people, listen to me right now. You say something about, I don't have anything to sell. I don't know how to start a business. All right? I just said to you, great salespeople do not necessarily create what they sell. I didn't create mangoes. All I needed to do was get them and sell them. I didn't create information products. All I needed to do was get them and sell them. CDs and tapes, all I needed to know was where to buy them, where to sell them. When the books came and it was time for selling books, all I needed to do was find out where to get books. And then we sold them. All right? If you sell cars, you don't have to be the manufacturer of cars to sell them. If you're into real estate and you sell houses or market them for lease or rent, you don't have to be the one who has built it. You don't have to be an architect. You just need to know how to sell. So selling is a massive skill. It's a most important skill for us on the earth. No matter what you study, whether you're studying medicine, you're studying banking and finance, you must know how to sell. You must know how to sell. As a matter of fact, that's what we call evangelism in the kingdom. Evangelism is marketing, it's selling the gospel, selling Jesus. We make Jesus famous when we talk about him. We make it the product of the kingdom. The most important product from the kingdom of heaven is Jesus Christ, who died, yes. And so we go out there and sell. We go out there, represent with our life. We're selling every time. Whether we like it or not, we're selling. So when someone says, I don't like a marketing job, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So that's a symptom of laziness, all right? Because realize that there's a whole lot, and I'm going to talk about that, why people do not like marketing jobs and how to deal with that. Okay? So I don't need you looking for a marketing job. I need you to become the marketer every day. I'm not asking you to go and look for a marketing job. I'm asking you to become a professional in marketing and sales. I'm asking you to become one who sells products and services. I'm asking you to be one who can find what people need and connect them to who has it and make money doing it. That's what I'm asking you to do. And doing it well, doing it, with all your heart, doing it, aggressively. All right? So, what is selling? What is selling? This is the simple definition I have here. Selling is the process of satisfying customers. All right? It's a process of satisfying customers. We satisfy customers' needs, all right, with products and services. So when a customer is satisfied from the product benefits, from this service benefits, then we say we are selling. So selling is not just about getting money, because that's what some people think selling is. When people hear the subject of selling, what comes to mind naturally is that, oh, I'm going to make money. Selling is not about making money. Selling is about meeting the needs of customers. Selling is about meeting the needs of customers. That's what selling is. It's about meeting the needs. So the question is, do people have needs? Are there needs everywhere? Yes. Can we meet them? Yes. Must we meet them? Yes. Because in meeting of those needs is where our wealth is. The more needs we meet, the more customers' needs we meet, the more money we make, the more income we make. All right? So when we're talking about selling something, I need you to understand it's about meeting the needs of customers. Wherever you're joining us from this afternoon, talking this afternoon on, sell something. Yeah, I'm aware of the fact that there are some people listening to us online right now. And so I'm sharing this because I need you to be able to connect to what we're doing. Sell something. Sell something. Sell something. Can we say that together? Sell something. Sell something. Sell something. Sell something. It's a desire of God for us to sell. As a matter of fact, cash flow, what we call cash flow happens to, we describe cash flow as, the flow of money towards value. So when cash meets value, all right, cash flows. In other words, I'm trying to say that cash flows in the direction of value. Value is the magnet that attracts cash. Value, 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 value. Please, I need you to take note of that. Value is the magnet that attracts cash. Value is the magnet that attracts cash. We attract cash flow towards our direction through valuable products and services. So the salesman is a merchant in value. Value. All types of value. Value-added services, value-added products, meeting needs, customers getting any massive benefit from any product or service, pays cash. And so cash flow, or rather cash flows rather, in the direction of value. Can we say that together? Cash flows in the direction of value. So the more valuable I become, all right, and I'm able, please, this is not just that I am becoming valuable. The more valuable I'm becoming and I'm able to sell, the more wealthy I become. Because a person can grow value and refuse to sell and refuse to market. If you're a very valuable saxophonist and people have to pay for your services. You have a saxophone on campus with you, or you're a banker, you have a saxophone, and you know how to serenade. And people don't know that you do that you offer specialized birthday, saxophone services to people, and that you can serenade at people's weddings and events, corporate events and churches and all that. If people don't know, if there's no Instagram page or no way to market your service to people, there's nothing letting people know that you are here and that you deliver that kind of product and service. Will they buy from you? Will they come to you? If I want to serenade my wife on her birthday now and I'm looking for someone who can play the saxophone, will I come to you if I don't know you sell? No. So we say this, that when you have value and you don't market it, you are like somebody who is winking in the dark. These lights, all the lights in this room are off, and you're winking. Only you know what you're doing, but she doesn't know. The next person around me does not know. So sales is impossible. It's not just about having to connect with. It's not just about having to have value. Rather, it's important to also market that value to people. Okay, that this is what I do. Whether you have complimentary card, you must sell what you do. You must market what you do. You must announce yourself. Even when Jesus Christ came, he announced himself. He declared that, the Spirit of God is upon me. Now I'm a carrier of solution. I am here for the poor. I am here for the brokenhearted. All of you who are blinded, who are being bound, I'm here for you. This is the solution. He announced himself. What was he doing? Marketing. He was announcing himself to the world. So it is important that we market. And so someone say, good products sell themselves. Yeah, it's true. Good products sell themselves. It's true. As a matter of fact, we live in that generation where good products sell themselves. But even though good products sell themselves, the best products are sold. And what that means is that, see, please take my words. I'm not just trying to make you feel somehow. When I say something is sold, it means that somebody brought it to you. Somebody presented it to you. Why is Coca-Cola doing adverts? Today, I've seen Coca-Cola adverts on YouTube. I was trying to listen to something, and all of a sudden, a Coca-Cola advert popped at me. What's Coca-Cola doing? Advertising, marketing. They're selling to me. Yet, that's one of the most visible brands on the earth. You cannot count 3 brands on the earth and not count Coca-Cola. It's not possible. Or let's even say 5. Top 5 brands on the earth. Most visible brands. So that is very important. Very key. That we must learn to market what we sell. All right? What we sell. Very, 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 very important. Very, very important. Okay, can we read this together? Everybody want to go? I've always said that everyone is in sales. Maybe you don't know, maybe you don't hold the title of a salesperson, but if the business you are in requires you to deal with people, you, my friend, are in sales. That was Zig Ziglar. You are in sales. We are all salespeople. We are all salespeople. Please, can you say it? I'm a salesperson. I sell every day. Whether consciously or not, I am selling every day. I sell every day. We sell ourselves every day. Sell. All right? We're selling. So quick, let's talk about habits of successful salespeople. Let's talk about some good habits they have. Some good habits. Not necessarily characteristics, but habits. Some habits. And a habit has to do with, a lifestyle that you have created for yourself. Something that you do consistently. Okay? Are we together? Yes, sir. Number 1, successful salespeople are constant learners. They are constant learners. They are constantly learning new things. They're constantly growing their knowledge base. They're constantly expanding their minds. They're constantly doing that. Constantly. Looking for information. Learning things. I'd love to say that successful salespeople learn a little about everything. In other words, they like to know a little about football. a little bit about golf, a little bit about tennis, a little bit about basketball. And the reason for this is because you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who you're going to meet. So successful people know little about everything. Can we say that together? Little about everything. They know little about, they try to learn every day. Try to learn about people, about culture, about races, about places. They try to learn. Learn a little bit of, a little bit of languages here and there. It's something they keep learning. It's a joy for successful salespeople to learn. They love to learn. And not only do they learn a little about everything, they also learn everything about something. So in other words, with regards to your industry, with regards to your business, your product, your service, the people that need it, you want to know everything about that. So if you are, let me take a skincare professional, for instance. You're into all manner of skincare products. You must know everything about skin types, right? Must know everything about the kind of cosmetic products that are, practically useful to each type of skin. If I have a dry skin, what do I need? If I have an oily, so you see, you must know that. You must be so good at it, and you must not just know what it is now, know what it used to be before, know what it is now, and as a matter of fact, try to know what it is becoming. Very, very key, which is why we've been talking a bit in some of the discussions around the campuses on career relevance in the fast-changing world. That not only are we meant to be groomed for solving problems of today, we ought to also get ready to solve problems of tomorrow, position ourselves for that. So that's that. We have to keep learning as salespeople. All right? Product knowledge. Very key. Number 2. All right? Successful people know their product intensively, extensively. Know it very well. They know it in and out. They know it no matter the industry, whether it's education, whether it's beauty, whether it's health, whether it's, whatever industry you are, from aviation, you know your product. You know your product. You know your product. And of course, rival products too. You must know rival products. You must know exactly what the alternative is. Why is that product better? What is the advantage? Why is your product better? What is the unique selling proposition your product stands to offer in the marketplace? Why should anybody buy your product? What is the uniqueness to it? You know, um, I didn't know that people now spice what they call pupugari with oil and pepper. I didn't know. I just saw that a few days ago. And my goodness, for those people who love to clear their bowels with, products like that, with roughages like that, getting a product in that sense that has unique. We've always known it to be white. To see it red was strange for me. And I said, oh my, if this is around, then this is an alternative. This is an alternative. I'm talking about the local delicacy that we know as Gari. A lot of us know it, right? Tapioca? Yeah. I'm saying that it was funny to see it red. I'd never seen it red. Not only was it red, it was now bagged and professionally sealed. And I was amazed. One person here will understand why I was amazed, because truly, there have been quite a lot of business models around that lately, but to see that product. So when I say you know your product, the question will be, why? When somebody adds oil to that kind of product, the question is why? Can that USP be marketed to somebody who needs to consume it? And why? And so this is, by the way, when I talk about USP, I'm talking about unique selling proposition. Please help me. Unique selling proposition. All right? So another habit of successful salespeople is that they focus on quality calls. Quality calls. Calls are important for selling. outright calls. You pick up the phone and dial. But not only do we call, successful salespeople focus on quality ones. So what are quality calls? Calls that can actually deliver, massive sales. I'm trying to get into an organization, for instance, and I'll go and start talking to the driver, the market, that's not to say that the driver of the MD can't get me to see the MD. All right, if that's my intention, that's fine. But if I'm speaking to this guy who is not the decision maker, to the end that my product will be bought by this company, I'm wasting my time. So the real use of my time with regards to trying to convert a certain company will be to speak to someone at the top. Am I making sense to you? Yeah. So they focus on quality calls. Quality calls. And this is quite important. We'll talk about calls a little more. All right. They keep their commitments. Okay, that's number 4. Successful people keep their commitments. So when it's time for an appointment, they call. They follow through. If they won't be able to make that appointment, they will call ahead of time, just to ensure that they register the fact that they'll be arriving late or they won't be able to make it at all. And you must do that ahead of time. All right? So commitment is key for successful people. They follow through on all fronts. Follow through. Okay? As a matter of fact, I would think that following through should be another major habit of successful people. Follow through is now it seems to be like, commitment, but follow through hasn't to do with following up on people you have committed yourself to. All right? Ensuring you deliver when you say you're going to deliver. As a matter of fact, follow through also requires that after your sale is done, successful salespeople, men and women, will also follow up on their clients, on their people. Right? I recently began to do some level of e-commerce, and I realized that one of the habits I had to learn was serious, customer service. A lot of people buy things online, but never have a follow-through call from people who buy from them. So I made it a point of duty. My mentor taught me this, all right, that sometimes follow through with an email, with a message, all right? And so the products that we're selling with the company I'm involved in right now, I pick up my phone and I chat them up. This is weeks after sales have been made, after conversion have been made. Pick up my phone and chat. How are you? How is this going? Are you enjoying the product? And then the feedback is good. And sometimes I come back again, follow through again, and I've asked, will you be kind enough to please, give your feedback? Can we quote you, and give your feedback out there for people to see? Especially when you have a good product to sell. When the thing is working, you should go back and ask your people, how far? How is it going? Because when you have a successful sale and you're a successful salesperson, you realize that your follow-up, or let me use the follow-through rather, is a very key part of your sales. So that there's repeat business ultimately. You're not just selling for that moment. And of course, someone who is satisfied with what they bought and your post, sales contact with them will also refer you to other people. So that person becomes a channel of sales as well. A channel of sales as well. And so please, I need you to understand this. There's good honey to say entrepreneurs who sell original honey and do very good with it. And all of a sudden, you pick up the call, your phone, and ask the person if the honey is good. All right? In fact, let me tell you something. The honey I bought from you some 3 weeks ago, common sense for someone who is a good salesperson will require that they follow through on that call, not only to check if the honey is good. That's what you said on the phone. That's what you said in your mail. But the real thing is that, look, I'm checking to know if your honey is finished. You won't be saying it. I won't be telling you that I want to replace the honey. I want you to come and buy another one. No. I just want to know if you're enjoying your honey. I want to know if you're enjoying your honey. In other words, I'm trying to see if the value that you are getting from it is good. Then all of a sudden I remember I remember that the thing is almost finished. Can you deliver another one? You realize that the intention before was to sell, but you have done follow through. Are we making sense? Yeah. I mean, people who service cars, I don't know why they don't do this. All right. Um, Recently was driving um, my parents-in-law, both of them, my wife as well, out of town to the hometown, and we had to stop by very quickly at one of a service car service man, and all of a sudden, I got there and realized that they were just, I mean, nothing was happening. And this was not the first time this has happened. I've asked him, I said, what is wrong with you picking your phone to ask your customers, how's your car doing? Because the truth is that you're not the only mechanic in town. There's one probably close to his office that will just be the one he will call because it's the closest. But the fact that you called or you sent a text and say, Oga, I hope your car is doing well. In this rainy season, this is a good time to check your tires and check. I hope you've checked lately. Just showing concern for my car already registers your name in my mind. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. So without thinking of the guy close to me, who is also probably better than you, I will be thinking of you because you were able to follow through. It's what we call follow-up in church. Sister Kewe, we've not seen you in church for a long time. Meanwhile, Sister Kewe says she's tired of coming all the way from far away to our church. All right? She can go to the church near her. It's still the same God we're worshiping. That's what she says. But because we pick up our call, to call her, to check on her, she feels part of a family. And so she comes. Is that not so? Yeah. So, okay, all right, beautiful. So there are a few things that we've not talked about. All right, they continue to do their research. In other words, they find out about their customers needs, the customers, and they try to research heavily. Research is a major part of successful people. Research. Find out what is trending, find out what is happening in the industry, find out what is new, what is coming. We currently are in the fourth industrial revolution. Officially, that began last year, January 2020. What does that mean? A good salesman will begin to find out now, what does that mean? How is automation? How is robotics? How are all these things, virtual reality, how are these things going to influence my business as a salesman? The research right now, serious and intensive research. I'm into cars. I sell cars. I import cars. And I hear that the world is investing heavily in renewable energy. What does that mean? When will Nigeria become mainstream? How long will it take? This is the kind of thing we should be asking. How long will it take? Do we have people investing in how to charge those things? Because not enough to go import those vehicles. If I have to travel from here to Lagos, how many charge points do I need? How long can this car drive on the road before I need to charge it again? Those things must be, I must have them readily available. So researching is consistent with every product and every service. Every product and every service. What is new? Please, let me even add this one, all right? For your business, for any product you sell or you will sell, you must find out how to get it readily available. In other words, faster. How can I make it delivery faster? How can I make the product better if you are actually involved in the production? How can I make the service better if you're involved in even if you are not involved, all right, directly, but you have an input by way of connection in terms of sales to that organization? How can you make this company be aware, of how to make it better, what people want? How can they cut costs? Because especially at a time like this, have you seen how much cooking gas costs lately? 12.5 kg costs 7,500 naira, right? That's more than twice right? So it's 100% more. Is there anything else we could do? Are there other things people can know? Someone tells me that by December, this thing will be 10,000 naira. Yes. That's what I was told just a few days ago. What does that mean to you? If you have that kind of information at your disposal, what can you do to help your customers? All right? Even if you are not selling gas directly, but you just heard that cooking gas is going to skyrocket, and you've gone to find out the reason why, then for you, your customers that you deal with, that kind of information, you can, even while you're having your business with them, you can ask them, have you prepared? Are you getting it? Because what that tells your customers is that you have them in mind. That, oh, why not prepare for this? Do you know why some of us get to prepare ahead of time for December? Because everything goes up in price at that time. So we tell people to get things up. So you realize that if you're selling things normally, no matter what it is you're selling, there's a whole lot you can bring to the table by virtue of your research into different things that you do. All right? Of course, another habit of the successful salespeople is that they expand their network. They keep growing network. They keep meeting new people. All right? And how they do that is that they go to places. They go to places they would not naturally go. Instead of just their normal routine of their home church, their customers, their homes, they extend themselves to go to places. On weekends, they try to reach out to different people, attend events. All right? They go sign up in clubs. I know of a certain businessman who went to register in a club in Lagos, not because he loved to play golf, but because he found out that everybody he wanted to connect with in business went to that golf club. It was a very stretching thing for a young businessman at that time to stretch into that kind of place. But that's exactly what he did. And as soon as he stretched, he realized that all the people he wanted to meet, he was seeing them on the golf course. He had to go buy a golf kit. Got and started going on golf course. Expensive. Golf is a very expensive game. And those who play the game are big boys. So when you want to do business with that, you have to move to where they are. You can't be sitting, and say I want to sell cars. I want to sell big cars, and you are sitting in I don't know where now, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay, then we consistently prospect. Okay, consistent prospecting. Prospecting is your capacity to create new clientele, ability to create new customers. All right, you increase consistently, because we know that we cannot, just rely on the customer base that we have. We can't just rely on the customer base that we have. Okay, so again, we look. That's number what now? Number what now? Are we together? Number 8. So number 8, all right, they do not act desperately to make a sale. All right, this is very important as well. Successful salespeople are not too desperate. All right, they're not overly desperate. You don't. Let me give you an example. When organizations used to call me many years ago, when my diary was empty, part of what I did as a public speaker trainer was every time I got a call, I ensured I didn't just say to the customer, "Oh yes, I'm free that day." No. No matter how hungry I was at that time, I would still tell them, I would love to confirm with my diary, confirm with my PA, even when I didn't have a PA. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Please, are we together? Yeah. You must carry yourself in that manner and ensure that you don't act desperate. Oh, we want you here, we need you here, and all that. Buy this product. If you buy it, all your problems will be solved. And this is okay. So number 9, they are bold and confident, and this is important. This is so important. A timid salesman will never close a deal. A timid, fearful, all right, double-minded, undeciding, salesman will never close a deal. Never close a deal. You have to be bold, you have to be confident to do that. All right, another one is that they are better listeners. They're good listeners. Successful salespeople are good listeners. They are consistently listening to what their customers are saying and what their customers are not even saying. Because there's a lot of body language that communicates something. And some people don't get it. Some people don't know how to read people's body language. Someone's body language can just be, I'm tired right now. I don't need you to waste my time. And then we continue. We've lost that person. The ideal thing would be to say, okay, I see you're tired. Would you mind if I come back next time? And the person probably will appreciate it, or the person might not. But whatever the case is, you have listened. You have listened. You have listened. You have listened. Are we together? All right. Most people think selling is the same thing as talking. But the most effective salespeople know that listening is the most important part of their job. Listening. Because in listening, you can get a lot out of the customer in listening. A lot. In fact, you can see opportunities while they're speaking. We're sensitive enough, we'll see opportunities. I was on campus many years ago, and I used to have books because I was already reading. I walk into a lecturer's office, sometimes I have a book in my hand, and he says, can I see that? He looks at it. And then the next thing he asks me is, where did you buy it? I don't know if you get that. Where did you buy it? So I found out that of all the lecturers I saw, maybe 8 out of 10 lecturers will ask me, what book is that? Realize it's not a geology textbook. Oh, this is lovely. I love this title. Where did you buy it? Who moved my cheese? Lovely title. What's it about? I'll tell them, where did you buy it? Because at that time in my school, there were no bookshops selling those kind of books. So what did without telling me to go buy the books for them, what were they saying? I want it. Is that not it? I want. When they say asking you, where did you buy it? What are they saying? I don't know where to get it. I don't know where to get it. So they didn't need to tell me. I immediately knew there was a need. I knew. So that became my business. And that business was in line with my passion for knowledge. So it was easy for me to latch in on that opportunity. So that's why I said, when you listen, you can capture opportunities. You can discover what people need, what people are clamoring for, what they are, desirous of. So please listen. It's very important to listen. Very important to listen. Very important to listen. Very, very important to listen. Sometimes, as a mentee, as a young person who is before his mentor, in fact, let me just put this one. One of the rules of mentoring is that you don't go and blab before your mentor, because you are selling yourself in that manner. You are selling yourself short, actually, as someone who is not as responsible as you think you are. So when you go before a mentor, sometimes you want to keep quiet and ask questions. And ask questions. And ask questions. So if you are, for instance, you're going to say something you are doing, all right? Let it be, of course, ultimately, what you're saying be a report on the previous advice that was given. This is what I've done with it, and this is what I'm doing. What do you think, sir? What do you think, ma? I'm telling you. You see, let your testimony end with a question, because that's what the mentoring session is for. The mentoring session, don't forget, it's not the mentor that needs you. Are we making sense? It is you, the mentee, that needs the mentor's wisdom. So after sharing what you are doing, what you have done, what you're about to do, always end with a question. Let that question lead to the next thing that you learn from. All right? Very, very important. I'm talking about listening now. I'm talking about how beautiful. Again, let's go back to focusing on quality calls. All right? Very, very key. All right? Talk about quality is everything. How do you focus on quality calls? All right? How do you focus on quality calls? Okay? Quality leads. It starts with getting yourself in front of the right people. The right people. Again, I talked about that just a few minutes ago when I said, if you're going to sell cars, for instance, you don't go to where people who ride bicycles are. No, you have to go to where, so you have to sign up. The Shell Club right now is about 40,000 per annum, something like that. Yeah. You might not love the lawn tennis, but the Shell Club, just hanging around that club, gives you access to a lot of people. And next to that club, if you're going to learn to play golf, is the golf course. You pay for that differently. It's one of the cheapest. I mean, the Chelsea Club, for instance, is one of the cheapest clubs in Nigeria. Yes, amongst all the NMPC Shell installations. Yeah, the one here in Warri, and it's beautiful. I'm saying this because some of us need to stretch. Need to stretch, not to go and just have fun, but to hang around. The key is to hang around. To hang around great people. Are we together? Yes, sir. To hang around lovely people. To hang around nice people. Very key. So quality calls begins with quality leads. And quality leads has to do with positioning yourself in front of the right people. All right? Then work incoming leads very quickly. I'm talking about how you focus on. So when you talk about leads, incoming leads that are being generated, somebody gives you a contact, work it quickly. Call quickly. Dial the number quickly. Don't hesitate. All right? Dial quickly. I love to ask for referrals from my clients. Referrals. I love referrals. I love referrals. Then follow up. Use emails, webinars, all right? Very, very importantly. Very importantly. Very, very, very importantly. All right, so follow up with that. All right, very important. And then, of course, work your script. By that, I mean that whatever things you have to sell, all right, push it out neatly, professionally, and do it. If you're using if you're using a marketing brochure, push it out there. If you're using whatever device you're using to sell, whatever things you're using to sell, you use it, push it out there as fast as you can. All right? Approach each customer with the idea of helping him or her solve a problem or achieve a goal, and not of selling a product or service. So this is very, very key for us as salespeople. Don't just be sales-minded in the sense of wanting to sell. I want to mention this with regards to how we actually deal with ourselves on social media, for instance. How we sell on social media, for instance. A lot of people who want to sell, who want to market things, all they do every day is come and talk about their product and service. I know that there's a strategy now. Some people talk about, don't do other things. Don't say, don't be more. But it's called social media for a reason. There's a reason why it's called social media. Every time we read from you on social media, it's only about your product. We don't see any other thing. All right? It's sometimes you need to bring in something to more people. Nigeria is stressful enough. A lot of people around the world are stressed enough. Sometimes you want to bring some video that will make people laugh. All right? You might call it Laugh Tuesday or Laugh Wednesday. And that's what you share once in a while on Wednesdays, once in a while. All right? Another time is information. What I'm trying to say is that for people who, the law on social media, the rule on social media is the fact that you have to sell 20% of the time. And 80% of the time, you have to keep communicating with people. You bring information 80% and sell 20%. That's the rule. I come on your page and I see every time, for instance, you are selling this presenter pens, and every time we come there is benefits of presenter pen. Oh, lovely, Peter. New presenter pen have arrived. Monday, presenter, Tuesday. It looks like a good thing, but that's overselling. That's overdoing it. That's overdoing it. That's overdoing it. I'm serious. That's overdoing it. That's overdoing it. That's why I say it's called social media. It's media and social. Social media. Please don't forget. Social media. There's a reason why we call it social media. It's not traditional media. And there are rules for engagement or for everything. You don't go using your leg to play the ball in a basketball match. And you don't use your hand to play the ball in a football match. There are rules of engagement for every space. I'm sure we understand what I'm saying. Very, very important. Okay, I left this here. Let's drive sales I know that this is the end of, literally the end of the third quarter of 2021 already. All right. So the second half is already ongoing. And we have some 4 months to go. So we can still benefit a bit from how we drive sales this third quarter and, of course, entering into the last quarter of the year. All right. So one of the things we need to do is to scale up our target. What that means is that if we had monthly targets for 5 major sales, depending on the sales that you have, maybe daily sales of 1, let's jack it up by 2. Let's jack it up by 2. If the customer target was 2 for a month, depending on which kind of business you do, jack it up by 4. Just jack it up. All right? Jack it up by a few percent. Jack it up. Jack it up. Scale up your targets. All right? Another thing is to find creative ways to present those products to people. Creative ways to, you know, um, while we're creating creative ways, we also have to take the steps immediately. But I found out that for me, the way that I would have gone through a network marketing business many years ago, I didn't apply myself that way. And at this age of my life, when I know much more than I knew then, I'm applying myself in a different way now because I'm thinking of how creative to, reach out to more people than I ever reached before. All right? And so this is important. Oh, by the way, speaking of network marketing, this country is one of the countries where most of the network marketing brands exist. As a last count, if I'm not trying to be too pushy about it, we have at least 30 major brands, and those are the ones that I could still just count. I took my pen. I did this about a month ago. I took my pen to write down brands. I went online and looked at active global network marketing platforms that reside in Nigeria. Global brands, not the ones generated here. If we add the ones that are homegrown, to be, too many. But I'm talking about global brands from Asia, from Europe, from America that are here in this country. Yeah, we have over 30 of them. And people doing immensely well with them. One of the problems that I found with a lot of people who have ever done network marketing is the fact that they didn't succeed with it. Oh, come and join. You bring 2 people, bring the level, and then you make a lot of money. And people rushed into it and found out that, this was not for me. I don't like anything that will bring people. I don't like, say lie. There's nobody that does not like money. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's just that I didn't know how to do it. Somebody who doesn't know how to play football, when he goes on the football pitch, he will disgrace himself. And when he disgraces himself, he say, football is not for me. It's a lie. It's just that I didn't know how. When you know how, you won't say it is not for me. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. Please, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same thing with e-commerce. In our generation today, e-commerce is it doesn't matter what you do. Even if you sell honey, even if you're a barber, you must engage the principles of e-commerce in our generation today. You must. But if you don't engage it well, you don't get the answers. You don't get the results. All right? You don't. You don't. So someone can say, it's not for me, it's not for me. As a matter of fact, let me say this. I'll say it again. I said it a few days ago in a meeting I was. If I have to go back in time, 20 years from now, so let me take that to when I was in Kwara State Polytechnic, for instance. I'm just leaving secondary school, I'm getting into Kwara Polytechnic. If I had to start my entrepreneurial journey again, I will not do it the way I did it. I won't go and start, look at the benefit of hindsight now. A lot of the things we know now were not aware around at that time. E-commerce was not as massive in Nigeria 20 years ago as it is now. So let me not reflect myself. But one thing that was available in this country at that time, 20 years ago, was network marketing. So you know what? I'll look for a solid network marketing brand, all right, that has products to sell. I'll look for that. That has a good compensation plan. I'll look for that. And I'll bury myself into it. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I don't need a shop. I don't need anything. In fact, Robert Kiyosaki wrote the book, The Business of the 21st Century. After reading it, I realized that, oh my God, everybody who is saying there's no job in this country, there's no job, is laziness. It's laziness. And you look at all those big men around the world, all of them, including Jack Ma, they are all setting up networking platforms. Why are they doing that? Because it's the system of the 21st century. It is. So when you learn those principles, you realize how interesting it is to connect with it. And this is why I'm going to say this to you, especially to the young people. Listen to me. I need you to understand. There are some people doing fraudulent things online. And all those people doing fraudulent things online could as well channel those wise things, those strategies, those skills that they have into doing great things online to build great brands ultimately. What we'll call um, um, a residual income, right? And some of us understand that, right? Residual and linear income, right? Linear income comes to me every time I'm involved directly. Anytime I use my hand or my mouth, I'm personally involved and money comes to me. That's linear income. But any business that I do that pays me when I'm not physically there, I'm sleeping, it's paying me. I'm not there, it's paying me. What do we call that? Residual income. That's it. And that's what I'm saying. I would create a residual income much more. If I was to go back to, I would go sell. As I got into Port Harcourt some while back, I think it was 2019, and I was in GRA, and I passed in front of one network marketing company. We have the same company here in the city of Warri. And I saw young people carrying cartons of the products. And I said, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. That's it. That's it. So, there's no job. I sit down at home and beg my parents for money. I would rather be doing anything that we sell. What are we talking about today? Sell something. What are we talking about today? Sell something. Sell something. So I'm saying that again. I'm saying that again. If I had to go back 20 years, when I'm still single and just about to get into the higher institution, to go start my entrepreneurial journey again, I'm saying it again, I'll look for a network marketing brand that had products to sell. Products to sell. I'll look for it. That also has a good compensation plan. I'll look for it. And then I'll bury myself into it. Give it 2-3 years, consistently bury myself into it. And see if. And the beautiful thing is this. When I sell and I make money, even when I sell what I don't love to sell, I want to balance that, because sometimes that's some lie that we tell ourselves. Say, I'm not passionate about it. I'm not passionate about it. I need to understand that I need to do what I'm not passionate about sometimes, many times, most times, to be able to fund the things that I'm passionate about. Because the funding for what I have passion for will not jump at me. They won't just come on me. An uncle will not come from somewhere and come and say, take. Some of these uncles that are even, in their minds, they're telling you they don't want you to be as successful as they are. Very few true uncles come out to say, look, I need to help you. So you need to tell yourself the truth. That's why if you have to go work in a construction site sometimes just to fund your music career, you go do it. Am I making sense? Yeah. So that's why I said I would bury myself into that for 2-3. I would bury myself into that for 2-3 years. Get the fundings that are needed, and then I'll use that, plunge into the things that I love to do. In fact, why I am working and getting paid, not only am I saving, I'm also investing in a part-time business that I love. Are we together? Yeah. Very key. All right. Very, very important. Okay. So also, to drive up our sales in this last part of the year, we also need to think differently. All right. We need to think differently going forward. That's what we call innovation. Innovation. 6 months, 7 months down the line, can we change something? Can we tweak something? What's not working? Can we sit down with ourselves by ourselves and tell ourselves what we need to do differently? Yeah. So we think and then we act differently. Very key. That's what we call innovation. That's what we call what? Innovation. Innovate. 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 Do things differently. Do things differently. Do things differently. Are you learning anything this afternoon? So the question I'm going to ask you is that what can you do differently from what you've been doing? Instead of giving yourself the excuses that nobody is buying my product, can you sell differently? Let me give you an example. I was beginning to get into the e-commerce, world late last year when I visited one of my mentors who was massively into it. All right, and in his house that day, he and his wife, who apparently had been in the business of e-commerce for 5 years and had grown such massive goodwill in the space in Nigeria. All right, there was a product they were trying to. Please listen to this because I saw this happen right in front of me. I saw it happen. All right. Um, there was a product they were trying to sell at the time. It was a digital light. All right. You see all those lights that people we use in auditoriums. But this one was a very tiny one, like Christmas, like the way Christmas lights were. But it was a digital version of it. And it could be projected from anywhere in the room. So you could put it here, and you think there's a Christmas light at that corner, it just comes, and something like that. And they were trying to push it out. So guess what? People will order online. The delivery people will go and deliver, and they'll turn them back. They were not converting. It was not converting into real sales. It was actual sales was not being made. Orders were coming. So the hard copy, the landing page was doing its job. People were going there, placing orders. But out of every 10 orders that were made, maybe 2 were sold. That was the worst campaign that they've ever had in 5 years in that manner. And they were starting asking themselves, what's the problem? What's happening? Guess what? The problem was that people loved the product. If I saw the product, they did it right in front of me. The videos that were created for the marketing campaign was done right in their living room. For when I saw the video and saw the living room, I said, oh, and your kids are the one doing this, playing. Amazing. They shot the video with their phone right in their living room and uploaded it on Facebook, and people began to place orders. And the issue was that people, when they finally saw the product, they said, this is too tiny compared to how much. I won't say exactly how much was being sold. Let me not tell you. But when I saw it, I said, I started asking myself, will I pay this amount for this product? The product is valid on when you see it on the video, it's amazing, it's crazy. But in physical, on your hand like this, once the carton lands on your hand, I went, what's this? What's this? So people couldn't pay. So you know what happened? I'm talking about innovation. This friend of mine told his wife, we need to do something differently. They called their printer and printed a Christmas package, all right? Just listen, printed a Christmas carton. It was a hand carrier bag, square in shape. And then they bought an extension box, a round extension box. Some of us might even have it in our room, but at that time was still just round, beautiful, fanciful extension box. And packaged it in, wrapped this thing, and dropped the carton next to it. So when the people began to deliver, all of it, I said I saw the alcohols in their house that period. All of a sudden, the next day, all right, 10 people went out, 10 were sold. 10, as in 10. They delivered the 10. And I said, packaging is everything. That was just it. So the question is, what have I tried to sell that I need to rebrand, that I need to repackage, that I need to redo better? That's the question. All right? That's the thing. This is for all of us, and I'm asking myself that same question because with regards to going forward into 2021, with regards to going forward into 2021, I think that it's important that we do things differently from the way we were always doing them earlier in the year. All right? Always do them differently. It's important that we do things slightly differently, very much differently from how we're doing them. Very, very, very important. I hope we get this very clearly. Good. Okay, so yeah. So to drive sales, we also need to become more friendly. More friendly. We like we already mentioned before, successful people network a lot. You have to become friendly. You have to make more friends. If you are an introvert, you have to find a way to connect with people much more. You have to. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to be excited about what it is you're selling. You have to be more friendly with people. All right? I've talked about this earlier, so I won't want to stay this. Also, you need to consistently research. Find out what it is. Right now, let me charge you. Right now, all right? Most people who want to do Christmas sales are already on their way to China. Right now. Christmas sales is a massive sale. In fact, one of the biggest anywhere in the world. One of the biggest anywhere in the world. All right? So, what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to look out for people who have product that they've imported into this country that you can align with. You don't have to go and import it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So research, do the work, do the work, do the work. How much do you want to make in between November and December? This year, 2021, November, December, shouldn't end without you making a certain amount of money. What do you want to do? Now, people want to, even if you want to sell, you want to make hampers that period. This is the right time to buy the baskets. Don't wait till that time. By October, November, start storing, store. If you want to sell 20 hampers, get 20 now. Get the material, the wrapping sheets, get them now. Those products you want to buy in December and sell, this is the right time to get them now. All right? Store it in your house because the prices will jump like this at that time. It's the truth. It does not matter. So this is the time. And so if you're going to do e-commerce in this country and you don't key into, festive periods, all right, mega periods when sales are really made in Nigeria, Valentine's is crazy. That is good. But Christmas, oof. So we need to make money, right? Come on now. We need to. You're not answering me. We need to do what? Make some money. We need to sell. Sell. So let's look for valuable things right now that we can do. All right. By the way, I also want to encourage you to go set up a simple website now. .xyz is just about 800 naira, 1,000 naira to get a domain name. All right. That .xyz domain name. All right. So depending on, there'll be time for you to question me later, okay? I'll give you the time. I'll give us the time. But right now, let's just flow with this. I hope that's okay. So please write your questions down. We can talk about this later. So depending on the domain name you're getting, if you're getting .com, it's quite expensive to do. But that .xyz, currently, if you go online and see quite a lot of people doing a gig commerce, you will see people using .xyz. I don't know if you've seen it. It's 700 naira for that domain name. For those of us who have learned to create landing pages, it's a good skill. If you don't know anything about landing pages, that's something, I talked about research earlier. It's something you need to go and learn how to do, a landing page. If you can't create one for yourself, then go and pay for it. With relationship, you can get a landing page for as low as 10, 15,000 naira. Yeah. Some of them go. If they're writing the copy for you and the landing page and connecting everything to your page from whatever, from Facebook, from Instagram, that should go for as much as 30,000. Now, I'm saying all this to you because you need to position yourself. You need to position yourself. There's a reason why you walked into this class today. There's a reason why you walked into this place today. All right? Pastor Rume is not just saying the things he's saying to you just so that you walk out here and you have those things in your notes. I want you to take steps. E-commerce is massive. As a massive. Massive. It's massive. I know there are about 60 million of us on Facebook. But actively, Nigerians, you and I, that spend at least 1 hour, we don't log out from Facebook. There are about 18 million on a daily basis. 18 million. If all you need to do is sell 20 hampers and deliver in Nigeria every day, If even used to deliver 2, 3. I'm not talking about putting in front of until people come and drive and see. No, no, I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. No, 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 no. This is the generation that does not need a shop to sell. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yesterday, I was saying in the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, I was saying them that the University of the Future does not need landmarks like this. That the University of the Future is a bungalow with a server. Bungalow with a server. So the lecturers of tomorrow can be lecturing from anywhere in the world. Can be in India, can be in Malaysia. And our students can be anywhere in the world. All we need is a server to link. Are you seeing now? Link somebody who needs our courses to somebody anywhere else in the world who can pay for it. And somebody who can deliver. You meet them together. You have one platform called a website. You have a server driving everything. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yes, we don't have that kind of resources yet. But the one we can handle, let's handle. You can create a web. Go and get a .xyz. I have a .xyz. I bought the domain for about 700 naira. 700 naira for one domain. One. Not two. One. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't know who is hearing this now, but I need us to get ready for Christmas sales. There are loads of products. All right. When you finish with the Christmas sales, get ready for January sales. Around that January, when schools are resuming, use your platform as well to sell again. There's a whole lot of physical products you could sell. And like I said, you don't have to be the one to have imported them. I know that a lot of people doing drop shipping and all that. I hope we're together, right? I don't need you to think of how to go and import from China now. It's almost certainly too late. It's almost certainly too late. Maybe you can do that for next year, 2022. But for this year, all you need to do is align with somebody who has imported or who is imported. Someone chatted me up yesterday, all right, asking for prices of what package of importation from India, from China. And honestly speaking, I'm not into freight. But because I have freight customers and clients, I'll connect those products. I mean, people want that kind of service too. So I don't want you thinking this. I want you to say together, I am a salesperson. I want you to say it with me. Say, I am a super salesperson. I earn income and revenue consistently. Is that okay? Come on, is that okay? Yes, sir. There is nothing unscriptural about what I'm teaching you. I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is God's will for our lives. That we prosper and be in good work. God's will for our lives is not for us to be begging. Is that God's will for your life? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. So I'm talking about if some people can do Yahoo Yahoo and buy big cars, we should do it legitimately. Are you getting what I'm saying? And show people that we can grow brands legitimately. Legitimately. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Legitimately. And we can grow these brands legitimately. Very, very important. Are we learning anything today? Part of what we must also do is to get mentors. All right? Get mentors. Get mentors. We need to get mentors. We need to look for people who can help us to achieve our sales targets better than we were doing them. Right? So look for somebody who is into sales. Look for somebody like that. And let the person encourage you, drive you to sell. That's the truth. So, for instance, in certain network marketing, this is one of the beautiful things about joining network marketing platforms. One of the beautiful things is that it throws you into a school. Most networking companies, the ones that do well, have very strong training structure. Very strong. In fact, if you don't get anything else from a network marketing platform, you will get trained. You get access to books. You get access to materials. Am I making sense? Yeah. And my friend used to say, you don't carry materials and your dream will not materialize. It's the same friend who told me you don't go to Harvard and cause hazard. I said, what is wrong with you? All right. So it's a very important thing to do. Very important thing to do. all right, to get mentors who will help you to achieve your sales goals, to achieve sales goals. This is very, very important. So I was going to say that one of the things that network marketing platforms have taught over time, they've taught some of their top networkers, is that if you're going to be a top networker yourself, look for people who have succeeded very well in the business and let them, you need to, because especially for a country like Nigeria, people who will discourage you from doing that business or exist all around you every moment. So what you do is that you go look for people who can encourage you. You need to keep asking them the question, how? If you don't ask how, nothing will happen. So you don't go telling them your story, you must go learning from them. And of course, if you are an employer, learn to reward initiative and performance, especially this period, all right? The more people who sell for us, we need to reward them, all right? And then once we hit our goals, we don't relax. We have to take the goals higher. We have to go higher. So this is something we need to do right now, right now. We don't have the luxury of time. We don't have the luxury of time. We need to strike. As in today's Sunday, for instance, and today we need to sit down as we get home, review our targets, review whatever it is we have for sale, and then basically, if your goal is to even start selling in the first instance and you don't have any product for sale, then your goal should be to get a product to sell. The question will be, where do you get that product from? Don't sit down and tell yourself, I don't have money to go to a bar to buy products. No, that's not what you need to do. You need to ask the question, how can I get products? Are there people who have these products with them that I can sell? All right? Or, please listen to this. Are there people who have these products, all right? They need customers. Can I connect my customers to them? Can I set up landing pages to connect with my social media handles, all right? So that people who see those things, and by the way, with just a 1,000 naira ad on Facebook, 1,000 naira every day, 1,000, that's 7,000 naira every week, all right? You can create a massive traffic, all right, to your landing page. And then your landing page will take delivery of emails and chats on your WhatsApp. I prefer chats. And my goal is just send me at least 10 chats every day, my goal. And my goal is to convert all 10. All 10. If I can't convert all 10, then let me do at least 6 of them out of 10. So I had a crazy experience. Just land on this page. Just land on this. As long as the advert is running, because Facebook will not give you chats. It will not push people to your landing page except that ad is running. Once you have paid for that advert, some things you see sponsored. We see it on Facebook a lot. Yes. Once you have paid for that thing, magic happens. Serious magic happens. And for any product, that's why I'm saying that as Christmas comes, we all need to begin to think. Even if you remember I gave you an example of how somebody was trying to sell one small product for a very expensive amount. Yes. And he had to think of innovative ways to what? To repackage it. So even to sell honey right now, let's be thinking of how can we sell it differently. All right? Can I get a sealer? I'm mentioning honey because I have I'm a client to someone here. And so just looking directly into the person's eyes, I'm mentioning honey directly. All right? So I know that she understands what I'm talking about. All right? So we need to do things. We don't have time to waste. The numbers matter. We need to sit down and punch calculators and see exactly what we need to do. If I spend so and so, how much will I get? We need to do it. We need to be punching calculator. All right? Now, I'm not asking you to get worried. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Or to get anxious about making money. No, that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to, see the scripture we read earlier, right? Luke 19, verse 13, right? Jesus says, this man was going away. He called his 10 servants and did what? Gave them minas. And what did he say? Do business. Come on now, talk with me, please. What did he say? Do business till I come back. In other words, occupy till I come. All right? Say, do transaction till I come back. Okay? So it's a mandate. It's a mandate we're giving. Not to be idle, right? Not to be idle. To trade with our skills and talents and abilities and to earn a living from it. And to earn a living from it. Earn a living from it. So this is very, very important. And I understand that some of us get to the point where we're anxious. Some of us are worried. If what we begin to do does not work, like I can tell you for certain, when I started my e-commerce journey, it was not working. Oh my God, my mentor was laughing at me. He laughed. He said, welcome. He would laugh. I'll go back and tweak. We tweak, change the heart page, the copy. I don't know all manner of things just to get people being led to my landing page. And then we went to look at the landing page, and he looked at it and said, "Oh no, we have to change everything." And in one evening, we sat down for 3 hours with the guy who designed the page and tweaked everything, and then boom, sales. All right, so this is quite interesting. I just need you to understand this. This is important. I want to push you in that direction. I don't know how long we can get through all of this today, but how do we identify and reach customers, right? Very, very important, but I'm not sure we have the time to really. I want to rush down to treat something today, okay? So the market, let's talk about the market very quickly. People in the market area with a need for products, that's one area. Your segments right there, okay? Let's get this together, sorry. Okay? All in the market area, all right? People in the market area with need for your product, that's another, all right? People in the market area with the ability to pay for your product, that's another. Now, this small one here is your market segment. Your market, people in the area with a need, who have what? The ability to pay and who purchase the product. Now this, so when you break this down, okay, you realize, let's just take the city where we are in now, worry. Everybody in the city here, everybody in the city who need your kind of product. That's this area, right? Some people need your product but can't pay for it. They will not be here. So they can pay for it. They get into that place. The ones who now pay, these are your core. These are the people we are focusing on. And we need to sit down and do that research and target that completely. We used to have, how many seats of marketing before? 5, right? We've expanded it to 7 now. All right? So we start with product, price, place, then promotion, okay? When I say sell something, what are you selling? Yeah, product or service. You must sell something. Sell something. Sell something. Is that what we're talking about? All right. Then, of course, pricing is important. Where are you selling it? Now, we're not just talking about traditional way of selling now. We've kept on including digital, e-commerce, right? So place is not just physical. It's now, virtual, online, digital. So, in fact, there are more sales happening virtually now than happen physically. And people who don't have shops, who don't have products that are selling online, because all they need to do is connect somebody who wears glasses. Found out that she knew where to get frames from. I'm talking about a real life story now. She knew where to get frames from. All right? Get cheap frames from. She went online and set up a site that catered for the needs of people who needed glasses, not just for reading, but all manner of things, even down. Some people wear black shades to cover their eyes from tearing at night when the sun is high. So she just knew how to connect, all right? So she set up the platform. She's not an optometrist. She's not an ophthalmologist. She's just someone who used to use glasses, who knew that there are people who need these products. one of our websites, because she has a number of websites, one of our websites has to do with that. Now, the question for me is, how many people in Nigeria even wear glasses? How many people want to pay? Are you getting the gist from? And so she's able to do all that, and she gets the orders. She goes to the person who sells. She does a markup and makes very key, very key, very key, very key. So people, and we have process, and of course, physical evidence. Physical evidence has to do with, people who have used your product and have proof of the fact that there's value behind your product. All right. When we talk of promotion, this how we do it in personal selling, advertising, sales promotion, publicity, direct marketing, and of course, what we've been talking about so far, internet marketing, digital marketing, and the likes. I need to speed you up because I need you to follow me so closely on this one. Personal selling, all right, can be defined as follows. All right, a direct communication between paid representatives and prospects, okay, that leads to purchase orders, customer satisfaction, and post-sale services. So when you look at this, you realize really, like I said over and over and over and over again, you do not need to create a product that you sell. You need to be able to sell any product that meets the needs of people. Any. As long as you can bridge the gap, all right, between prospect, the person who wants to buy, and the product, what they need, then you are good to go. You will sell. You will sell. You will sell. Whew. Thank God for salespeople. Salespeople is why we enjoy our life. Salespeople is why we have clothes, shoes, wristwatches, everything. Salespeople. Salespeople, people selling every day, including pastors that, speak to you every Sunday. We're selling every day, every Sunday, every single day. Selling. I know some superhero salespeople who do amazing things. They're not the ones selling big cars and big houses, but they've mastered the act of selling what people need at different times. Let me explain that to you. I know a woman somewhere in Ojota who, when it is time for corn, she sells corn. In fact, in the morning when people are going to work, she will sell akara, hot, bean cake. She'll sell that. She'll sell moi moi in the evening. She's busy selling everything that people need. In the afternoon, she'll do akara. She'll do corn when there's corn. But one of the things I know she loves to sell in and out of season is what we call bole, roasted plantain. She does that. She does it with fish. She does it with yam. That's what she used to train 3 big men. The middle son, Shegun, was my roommate in school. Yeah, in Ilorin. All of them came to Ilorin. 3 big men. They're all big men now. That's what she did. Train. That's what I call some secret salespeople. People who sell in season and out of season. Are you get what I'm saying? Sell. Sell. People who sell. Not people who beg. Not people who beg. And this is God's desire, that none will beg among us, but that everybody will have something to sell. Somebody should be, just like you say, I design websites. Somebody should be able to say, in the midst of us, all right, I render home delivery services for people who want to have a haircut, for people who want to have their hair made, for people who want to, if you have shoes, there are a lot of people who have shoes at home that have not been repaired. I don't make shoes, but my job will be to pick up all your shoes. All your shoes. I'll pick every one of them and your kids. Ensure that they are repaired and they are polished. I'll deliver them to your house. I don't have a laundry business, but my job is to pick up all your dirty clothes. I will ensure that I pick them, take them to the laundry, and I'll deliver them to you at a fee. When I deliver, maybe just 1,000 naira, but I would have ensured that I take that burden off you. If I pick 10 people's clothes like that within the neighborhood, and I've signed you up with just a fee of 1,000 naira, I've signed you up with just a freaking fee of 1,000 naira per month, all right? And I have 10 people in your estate. I have that like that in every estate around. I have a full-time job. Eventually, that pickup service can actually become a laundry service. I don't even see why I shouldn't even set up a laundry service immediately. Are you getting what I'm saying? So to be saying that I don't have a job, it's almost like saying that I don't have a brain. I can't think. It's true. That's what it means. It means really. I'm not thinking. I'm not thinking. So I pray for open eyes and for open ears. In the name of Jesus Christ. Please say better amen now. Amen. Open eyes, open ears, open eyes, open ears. We will see opportunities. I like sharing this experience. That is, guy who used to be head of our music team many years ago before he left for Scotland. Sometimes we'll pass where you have dustbins. And as we pass, he'll tell us to stop. He'll go down and start enjoying the smell of the dustbin. I'm telling you. And then he'll come back and say, waste to wealth. He's always talking waste to wealth, waste to wealth. He loved dustbin. While we are, moving, what God showed him was wealth in dustbin. Seriously, waste to wealth, waste to wealth. He said, all this bottle, all this nylon, change it. He said, we turn them to beads, to slippers, to the waste to wealth. But that was the passion God gave somebody. Abi? Yeah. So open eyes. Where some people are seeing problems, may we be seeing opportunities there. Amen? Amen. I said amen. Oh. Amen. This habit of having to get out and run away at the slightest challenge in the country. Every day, right now, our brothers and sisters are running out of the country at the departure lounge of all our international airports. But at the arrival lounge, you will see Lebanese and Indians and Japanese and Chinese and everybody running into the country. And they're all smiling. The problems we are running away from, they are running to. Abi? Because we want to go abroad and stand in front of lovely places and take pictures, right? And they will come to our own country. They will take pictures in the bush. The timber that we're running away from, they are running there. It surprises you. But let me say this to you. Between Abraka and Agbo, all those rubber plantations you see on both sides, they are owned by a Chinese company that bought the land. See, the owners of those lands, their children will come tomorrow and be looking for land to buy. The Chinese have bought everything. Many of the lands that you see with timber, the Chinese own them in this land, in this country now. It's just that we don't know. All those ones will pass on the road when we're traveling to Lagos. Yeah. They are now owned by foreigners. Because we run away from the problems. We don't want them. These ones are coming. They see the opportunity. And then when the rubber grows, they'll tap them and export them. Did you know at a point, the reason Gary price increase was because we were exporting them? Are you aware? You don't even know. See, the ground before farmers planted, they've already paid for the cassava. They've even bought the land. They just say, oh yeah, plant cassava. They finish like this. Everything down to the cassava tree, the leaves, everything, they carry everything away. And they leave the one that they want plants. And they go do quite a lot with it. We'll talk about research. We receive discipline, amen. Amen. I said we receive discipline, amen. Amen. Okay, let me talk about the psychology of selling and then end with the 10 laws of selling or 10 commandments of selling, and then we close for today. All right, let's stop there. Okay. So all you need is all you need for effective prospecting. Okay. So this is what the psychology of sales is about. 80% of marketing and sales is done mentally. All right. In other words, selling is more psychological than anything else. The battlefield is the mind. That's why in our leadership school we have a module called personal transformation. Right? Personal transformation. That's where we start. All right. That all things are created how many times? Twice. First where? Within, and then without. Okay? That success is who you are, not what you have. Okay? We talk about that. And this is quite important for us. And we the reason we do all that at the beginning is because everything else in the leadership school at the basic course is built on all of those principles. And it's the same thing for sales. Imagine the bias a lot of Nigerians have with network marketing already. All right? Just imagine that. Even with sales jobs. Sir, please, I need a job, but I don't want marketing. Every time, I don't want marketing. I just shared it. a marketing job on my social media handle just a few days ago for an insurance company, and not one person applied. Not one. Not one person applied. I was smiling. But when I put it there, I said, um, admin, civil engineering. You see people just, in fact, just market. I put an advert out for civil engineering opening. That's when I knew how many civil engineers had graduated from every university in Nigeria who lived in this city. I, CVs, I have CVs, massive number of CVs. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Then we put electrical engineer. I said, no, I'm not sure we have electrical engineer. I said, I realized that we have a lot of indigenes from here who have degrees in electrical engineering from many universities around the country. And they are here. But marketing, no, 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 no. I don't want marketing job. No, forget it. It's too stressful. Meanwhile, the greatest men in the world, all right? You see, that mentality is why we have a lot of people running out of the country, because we're afraid of challenges. We're afraid of problems. We don't want anything that will stress us. And all those kind of things, say we should bring two people. No, 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 no. But we want the money. If I make that money now and I give you, you collect it, Abi. I tell you, it's from bringing two people. All right. People buy a portion of the salesperson, in other words, the marketer, not just the product or the service alone. All right? This is very important. This psychology is very, very important. And then lastly, the emotional state of mind of the salesperson affects the prospective customer and the entire sales process. So if you have a joyful salesperson, you have a confident salesperson. If you have somebody who is sad, it affects everything else. It affects everything else. So that emotional state is very, very key. Very, very key. Very key. That's why, if I were you, in the morning, after I finish dancing praise and worship songs, all right, in the morning, and I will play that song because I'm happy. I just get in the mood of dancing. That's why I love playing music in the morning, though. Just to get myself to arrive here. Because, see, the things that will make you angry and sad, there are plenty in this country. Imagine that you slept all through the night. If let me give an example. They brought power in my estate recently, and our kids were in our room with us, and generators were going off one by one, and then there was calm. There was a particular generator that refused to go off for 2 hours after they brought power. And then all of a sudden, the person finally turned it off. And then my daughter said, oh my God. I said, see the piece. You sleep with that, till 1 a.m. And then when you turn off your generator, there's some heat disturbing you. Sometimes some dreams that we have, they're induced by the sleep and the mosquito and everything. All of a sudden, you wake up in the morning, you're not happy because of the way you sleep. Mosquitoes were buzzing your ear, something. And then you now wake up. It's as if they've been pummeling your body all through the night, and now you have to go and walk. It's as if we've not slept. And for those of us who, oh God, you have to now consciously bring yourself into the mood. Like my wife, one of the things she does when she wakes up is she goes to the prayer room and prays. Okay? And you pray in tongues. After you finish praying in tongues and pray, you have to bring yourself into an energetic, deliberately create the atmosphere. If not, and people can people can sense it when you're not happy immediately. Even on the phone, they know. Even on the phone, people can tell. All right, so let me take you on this journey. 10 commandments of sales, and I'll end there today. I hope you've learned something today. Yes, sir. We need to sell. We all need to have something. In fact, more than anything we've learned, the instruction is that we need to go and look for products to sell. And you don't have to have the physical product with you to sell it. You want to sell 10 wristwatches, look for somebody who has wristwatches and connect wristwatch to the person. And don't be greedy. All right. So if the person has the wristwatch discounted to you at say 1,500 naira, just mark up with maybe 100 or 200 naira. Your goal, you see the issue is that guy has the product. He has brought them from wherever. You don't have it. What you need to do is create a platform that can sell to more people. That's all. So what you need is to have as low margin as possible to sell to a lot of people. And that's for just one site. That's just for just one landing page. You can do that with many other products. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the goal now is not even to make money. The goal is to master that process, to master that channel, from locating the person who has it to delivering, and using your social media page, your handle, you need just go and master it. That's something we're going to get to do within the next 2 weeks. All right. As a matter of fact, getting a mentor in on the class, and I'm going to ensure that it's not a paid class. I'm not stressing anybody for it, but there is a certain one that is out there and pretty heavy. There's a massive fee for that one, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The goal for what we're doing is to ensure that we create wealth. We're talking about create wealth this month, create multiple streams of income, reinventing ourselves. I don't want to hear, I study engineering. No. You don't want to be a hungry engineer. Just ensure you sell. So if you're an engineer, electrical engineer, all you sell now is bread. Sell the bread. Be the bread seller. That is a wealthy bread seller. And I can also invest in an engineer, especially if engineering is something you want to do for the rest of your life. You have to do what you do not love to finance what you love. Have we said that before? Yes, yeah, very, very important. Very important. So I hope you can do something about that. In a model of cancer, there's safety. There are people out there doing this stuff already. Please locate them, talk to them, chat. If you have to chat me up. What I can't give you answers to, I'll direct you to where to get the answers from. I'm a student in this field myself. I'm not a master yet. I've given myself exactly a few months. It's a time when this would become a real... Right now, all right? I have gone beyond telling you theory to telling you what I'm doing, especially with regards to the subject of reinventing myself. I'm not old. I'm a very young person, so there's no reason why all the things that are happening around blockchain, around the cryptocurrencies, e-commerce, and all that, we shouldn't be open to them. Not be sitting down and waiting for a miracle to happen. Meanwhile, these things are happening. Within the next 10 years, this is going to be, obvious way to go. Okay, first commandment, salesmen and conmen are the same, except with one thing. And what's that? Integrity. Integrity is the differentiating factor between every con man and a salesman. Every man you call a con man, all right, is a very confident salesman. Everybody who sets up any platform that dupes people is a salesperson. Yes. It takes a confident person to dupe you. The only thing is that he does not have integrity. We, on the other hand, growing businesses. I mean, a con man will sell salt to you and call it sugar, and he'll be very bold. Yeah, and sell anything, can sell anything. Can tell you that his father is the owner of this building, and that this building has been here for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That his family is the owner of this estate. Have you not heard that people brought people from different parts of the world and sold our national stadium? Have you not heard before? Yeah, that's a con man. It takes a confident person to do that. Think about it. Can you sell the national stadium? You. Can you sell it? If you can sell it, you will sell anything. Anybody that can sell national stadium, that person is good. So it was like, you're a thief. You see, a thief is a con man that has confidence and has the sales skill. If not, you wouldn't have come. That's called the act of persuasion. You saw the letter. He has mastered everything. Everything. did video, did marketing. He wore suits, carried BMW, did everything. And you believed. That's persuasion right there. That guy, should be a preacher. In fact, God goes after such men. Any con man becomes a preacher, will become a great preacher. He will convert men to Christ, like now because so that's that. Number two, until you own the product, nothing extraordinary will happen. And to own the product means that you and the product become one. The values of the product, the benefits of the product. We said successful salesmen know their product. They know their product. We said that earlier, right? Yeah. So the second law of commandment is that you must know your product. Thou shalt know your product. Thou must know it. You must know it too. You must know the product. You must know the specs. You must know everything. You must know inside, outside, underground, in and out. So when I began to come back to networking, because before I began to pastor, I was into networking. In fact, I ran a network marketing company. I was country manager for that company. We were using networking to sell laptops, at the time. Get one, pay 15,000, you could get a few people, or 4 of them. And once you do that, you get an HP laptop of your own. We did that successfully for a long time. And then amongst a lot of other networkers, even just, one of my mentors used to have a platform called New Nigeria Club, and we was networking. We had remember I told you that there are so many networking companies in this country that are global, and so many that are indigenous. I said that to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But by the time I started pastoring, I felt that I didn't need to do this again. In fact, for a long time, I felt, no, there's no need to network. There's no need. Especially after, trying a few, and, a few of them just didn't work. I made up my mind that I don't want to use networking to destroy young ministry. That's one of the things I did. But, I hear me, but, yeah. So I saw God speak to me clearly and said, don't call, he was speaking to Peter. He said, don't call what I've called blessed unholy, unclean. I said, oh God, this is me you're talking to right now. And anyway, especially when we went into the lockdown last year, a lot began to happen, especially for us in our house. And as we prayed, God began to lead us into more opportunities. And for me, e-commerce and networking was strongly top on the list. So what did I do? Without getting mentors, I knew that the materials were online. I went online. I have a whole material, right? Where landing pages, I had to learn how to write landing. Copywriting, I learned it on my own. All right? I had to learn all these things. I was reading and listening to videos, watching, and I was taking notes. And the more I did that, the more I realized I was ready, but I wasn't fully ready. What I needed now was somebody in Nigeria who could connect what I had learned to reality. And by February this year, that's what happened. All right? That's what happened. As for networking, I went back and did something. I asked myself, why do people fail in network marketing in Nigeria? You see, that question I asked, it led me to a crazy research. And as soon as I came out with the answers, I realized that I'll never fail again. That's why I said to you earlier, I said, if I have to go and start again, what did I say I'll do? I get a network marketing brand, okay, that has products to sell. I'm saying it again. I'm stressing on product to sell because there are platforms that don't have product to sell. Yes. There are products to sell, not the ones that are wishing they had product or telling you the product is coming from the sea. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. No, there are products to sell. Yeah. And have a great compensation plan. Because a laborer is worthy of his wages. Yeah. So if I do the work, if I'm going to do this work, you should pay me. And pay me well. So I'm ready for it. And so I did that work. So speaking of, knowing your product and owning it, the platform I decided to join, one of the things I did was that I had to go and check all their products. Found it. Trying to find out exactly what they were doing and what they weren't doing. And then one of the things I did with regards to compensation plan is I began to study compensation plans of all the major networking platforms in this country. I can literally tell you now. I can tell you literally. And then to that end, I asked myself, what is the difference between this one and this one? And how... I'm talking about owning the product, knowing your product very well. Yeah. Sometimes they are, Pastor, you mean, sit down there. Sit down there. You don't mean anything. What I'm saying is what I mean, and what I mean is what I'm saying. I'm not playing around what I'm saying. I'm saying sell something. Are you getting what I'm saying? Sell something. If you currently are a tailor and you sew, you're a fashion designer and you sew, make sure you sell that thing. Don't just, if you write books, learn to sell the books you sell. You write. Don't just write and say, I'm an author. Learn to sell. Is that okay? Yeah. We all need to sell something. In fact, beginning from this week, all I want to be hearing is, sir, I have a product now. This is what I sell. That's what I want to be hearing now. Is that okay? That's what I want to be hearing now. In fact, young man, let me have that bag. Let me show you how I used to be on campus when I started selling. All right? So CDs and tapes were inside the bag like this on my rucksack. And every time I got into the office of a lecturer, I would bring it out. As I said, there are books to sell. I mean, you might love this one. Because after all, they were the ones asking me, where did you get this book from? Now that I have them, will I keep it in the bag and not tell them? I'll tell them. So I tell them, I have this now. I have it now. My knapsack was not just for textbooks. It was 20% for textbook, 80% for products. I have, you have to sell something. Are you getting what I'm saying? There was a time when we went on a riot in school, on campus, and Randy boys destroyed things on campus. And you know when things get destroyed, it's everybody that pays, right? So they sent us to come and pay. Zenith Bank at Water Resources here. I loaded my bag. Something inside me told me, since you are going to Korea. So I went to the carton in my room, loaded my bag with products. When I got to the bank, I brought the product out, CDs, and everything, Ron Kennedy, Donwell, music, worship, audio books, every kind of thing. So I brought it and loaded it. And in less than an hour, everything was bought. So they asked me to come back again. And that's how I started selling to them in the bank. Now, this is what I'm saying. Beginning from this week, your bag should have a product inside. You have physical product, you have some. Then you have online. Because are we together? Yes, come on, are we together? Yes, beginning from this week, in fact, before this month ends, we have about 10 days to go. All I want to see is testimonies. When you come back to share the testimonies, I want to also hear that blind eyes were open, lame were walking, people were delivered from accidents. I love those testimonies. But what I also want to hear is that I used to be broke before. Now, alert is coming. Talk to me. Are you hearing me? Yes, sir. I want to hear that kind of testimony. That kind of testimony, I want to, and you will have it in Jesus' name. Amen. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You will have it in Jesus' name. Amen. When we talk like this, sometimes people say, we like to preach about wealth too much. But one of the things people do not know is this, that one of the reasons why a lot of people are involved in a lot of terrible things is the poverty on the land. And the scripture, the Bible has the answers to it. Our covenant fathers were all businessmen, for God's sake. Even Jesus Christ is an entrepreneur. So how on earth will somebody come and tell me not to talk about these things? And by the way, this is like probably the second time this year we're talking about it. In 7 months so far, we've had to do an entrepreneurial series only twice. Okay? When we teach about prayer, people will not complain. When we teach about how to grow a good family, people will not. When we start talking about money, they say, they've started again. I say, yeah, let us start. Let us start. Because in this generation, one of the easiest ways to lead men to Christ is for you to prosper. I'm telling you, the moment you prosper, see this lovely suit. Did they dash it to you? Did you buy it? You made it. Jesus is Lord. Please stand up. We need to look at you. This is beautiful. Did you make the scarf? Yes. You made the tie? Yes. Please turn around. You look like a super model. Turn around, please. Super model. I said, turn around. Just turn around. Turn around. You'll look good. Now I'm marketing this guy. Now you need to patronize this wonderful man. Does it look good, right? Yeah. But this is not free now. You bought the material? Yes. Okay. What am I saying? When you prosper, people will connect with you. When you prosper. Please answer me now. When you what? Prosper. Please, is your name Prosper? Gift. Your name is Gift. Oh, okay. My friend Udeme was a fashion designer. God bless you, man. So that's that. Third law, the more you connect with people, the more you sell. So learn to connect. We've talked about that. This is a law. You must connect. The more you connect, the more you sell. Don't just do business with only people in church. Go to the place of sports. Go to your bank. Go to the club, the shell club where people play golf and lawn tennis. Connect with bigger clients, right? Go online. Connect with people. Meet people. Sponsor. And this is very important. Engage people. Engage people. I know it's a lot of work to engage. It's a lot of work to engage, to chat with people, to send out a broadcast that will encourage and inspire people. It's a lot of work, but do it. That's how to connect with people, right? Do it. It's a very, very important one. Okay. Then, of course, number 4, prospects buy you before they buy the product. All right? Prospects buy you before they buy the product. So keep adding value to yourself. All right? We need to shut down now. Keep adding value to yourself. Keep growing yourself. Learn to communicate. Take a course in public speaking. Take the training in etiquette. All right? Learn to speak differently, not just pidgin, and learn to talk. Learn to speak. Learn to present. Learn to write well. Don't just write with abbreviations and write nicely. Let people connect with a valuable person. With a valuable person. Be excellent in it. All right? And this is a very important one. Number 5, the 5th law. So we say 80% of sales are made. It's 80%, not 80. 80%. Please, can we say that together? 80%. 80% of sales are made after the 5th call. We call it Formula 5. Okay? 80% of sales are made after. In other words, people will not buy from you most of the time the first time you dial, the first time you reach out, the first time they read from you, the first time they see you on Facebook. That's why I said, don't just come and be selling on Facebook. Present value to people. 80% of your content on Facebook must be about, content that are not related to sales. Write something. Share a quote. Share a video. Deliberately go and then download inspirational videos and share. All right? Share. It's not only your product. Every time they read from you, it's your product. Every time. And some of us have done it in such a way that we don't even know that we're selling. Every time we talk, it's just one thing. Someone says it's focus. No problem. But don't forget, I've said this thing. It's called social media for a reason. It's called what? Social media for a reason. Relate with people and then sell. Relate and then sell. Are we together? Come on, are we together, please? Yes, yeah, very, very key. All right, number 6. All right. Anyone who doesn't buy today could buy tomorrow. This is a very important law. He who didn't buy from you today could buy tomorrow. So don't burn the bridges. Don't burn the bridges. Don't cut people off. Once you've marketed to them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've reached out to them, they're not buying from you, don't worry. Just be cordial. Keep in touch. Some of them are not buying now because they don't need it. Some of them are not buying now because they do not have the money now. All right? And tomorrow, because of a relationship you've kept with them, even if they don't have the money today, they can always refer you to somebody who has the money. So they will always buy tomorrow. Number 7? There's a difference between selling and dumping. There's a difference between selling and dumping. So what that means is don't just take your product and service and shut it down people's throats because you want to collect money. And then you walk away and say, I've sold. When you sell to someone and you don't maintain a contact after to check on people, that's what you're doing. You've simply collected money, you want to go. In fact, you've done it so much so that whether the product is good or not, you just want to end it. You want to convert all the work you've done on social media. They've come to your page. Now that they've come, let's just sell. All right? No follow through, no thank you. That's why one of the predominant rules of engagement, as soon as somebody fills your form on your website, there's an automated thank you. Am I right? Yes, automated. It will get to you instant. So that you don't have to be thinking of how to say thank you. The thank you has gone. It's important. All right, then number 8, rejection or objection is not personal. This is a very important law. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people stay away from network marketing, because of this thing. That before you can get two people to sign, some people have talked to 100 people. It's a problem for many people. They don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like it. I forget that it is part of the game. So rejection and objections are not personal. They are part of the game. This is the eighth law. This is the eighth law. Very important. And I like to tell you that you need a cup of tea every morning. You know that cup of tea, right? You all look at it. Learn to tell yourself no. I'll show you another cup of tea later. But you have to tell yourself no. In fact, I had 3 kids in my house. I practice without them knowing what I'm doing. All right? My wife and I privileged to lead 3 amazing young people that God has given to us as caretakers. All right? But this is it. I say no to them more than I say yes, deliberately. Can I have your phone? No. In fact, I've done to the point that I'll be counting mentally in my head. Someone have asked me 5, 6 times if I say yes. Deliberately. Like one of them has gotten used to it that I will eventually say yes. So she continues, please now. Please now. I said no. Please now. No. Please now. I said no. Don't you understand? No. But I'll give it back to you. I just want to do something with your phone. I said no. Do you know what I said, see, if I tell you yes more than you hear no, you think that's how the world is. The world is not like that. In fact, more than ever, in fact, you hear no. Even God will first tell you no many times before he tells you yes. Think about it. Because that's the training. That's the training. And painfully, when some people hear no like this, they sulk. They just sulk like babies. Some people who have been raised anyhow to get everything they want. All of a sudden, they've been thrust into the real world. They hear no. They can't handle rejection. For me, rejection is like food now. You say no, I'm happy. I'm telling you, once you say no to me, it's like you just put fuel in my tank. Oh, wow. Oh yeah, let's go there. Shay, you want this game, Abby? If I want to get something from you and you tell me no, I'm coming for you. Oh, you understand me now? You understand me? You understand me? Okay, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Let's not be disappointed at people. Say, So this rejection game is important. Then number 9, the more we believe in ourselves, the more we achieve. So this is very important. Thou shalt believe in yourself. It's a very important law. Law number 9. The more you believe in yourself, the more you achieve. Another cup of tea you must learn to drink every day is this one. All right? You must say it every day. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. I can go places. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can overcome situations. I can leap over walls. I can run through troops. I can achieve the impossible. That's it. Yes. It doesn't matter. Even when you're doubting yourself, even if it's your father or your mother, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, your kids, anybody doubts you, says words that are not helpful, make sure you try and encourage yourself. Because that's something David had to do. Remember? Scripture says that David had to encourage himself where? In the Lord. Encourage himself. Imagine everybody were downcast and they were all looking at him. Oh God, what's this one here? What are you doing? We're serving you and see what's happening to us. Yeah. Can we say it together? I can do all things. I can do all things. Say it with me. Yes, I can do all things. Yes, I can do all things. So you see, somebody tells you no. Now no is rejection. Now you look them in the eyes and say, yes, I can do all things. Before you step out of the house every morning, you must look straight in the mirror and say, yes, I can do all things. Yes. Please, let's shout it together, everybody. Yes, I can do. I can do. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes. This is very important. And lastly, happy salesman, happy customer, happy company. All right? Happy, happy, happy. We must make ourselves happy. All right? If your environment is sales related, you have products for sales, what you do there, sales. People are coming to your place for business. Please always play music. All right? You're on a fashion designing place, play music. Why do you think there's always music in a fast food? Why do you think there's always music in a barbing salon? Why? Because the atmosphere has to be high tempo. Abi? Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm happy. But don't just be happy, be joyful. Amen? And there's a difference between the two of them. Happiness, we say, is a function of the happenings around us. But joy is a fruit of the Spirit. They are two different things. Yeah. And I wanted to stress on that. I want to stress on that. People are happy when things are going well. Happy. When things are not going well, people, this period there, things are not going well. They start frowning. Mood. Some people are like that. One of the laws of successful selling is that you must create the... See, because it is first within, this is how it works. If you are not happy within, create it from the outside to come in. And that's what God was teaching Joshua. He says, this law of the Lord shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night. All right? Then you will observe to do. Look at it too. Scripture says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. God said to Joshua, the law shall not depart from your mouth. What does that mean? You must confess it. Confess it, then meditate on it. In other words, saying, generate the seed for the transformation from outside. Generate it from outside. Let it come from outside. Okay? What we learn in personal transformation is that what we see and what we hear consistently over a period of time will enter our hearts. And anything that enters our hearts will ultimately do what? Control our life. Is that not so? Yeah. Whatever I see, whatever I hear.
In my life, I'm living for his glory. I'm on fire every day, and nothing can stop me. Doesn't matter what I face, I am getting bigger every day, every day.